Hello, I'm reading Evie. Today I am going to talk about books that I don't like. Not really talk about them, but like read reviews. The good reviews, like I saw, or like I did last week. Um, but this is going to be books that I disliked. And I just realized on the camera, my shirt is not MAGA. It's Make America Read Again, which I thought was appropriate for my booktube, but it is not MAGA, so you can continue watching. Um, so I don't really have books that I really dislike. Um, if I'm not interested, I just don't finish it. I'm really a big fan of DNFing books. Not like I really do it that often. Um, I think I've done it like once, or no, I've done it twice, and it was honestly on the first page. I'm very quick about DNFing. If I'm not interested immediately, I DNF it. Um, However, there was one book that I'm trying to pull up now that I finished because of an online what is the word, book club, online book club. So I finished it so I can participate in the discussions, and that was The Handmaid's Tale. I know like a lot of people liked it, and I liked the plot. The plot was good. I just didn't like her writing style. And I hate open endings so much. So, and that's what the ending was. It was an open ending. And I really hate it. And it's not, that alone isn't enough to make me, dislike a book. But, she didn't use quotation marks. Which is a small thing, but it's just, I wasn't a fan of the writing style. And it was very boring, and, it was a good plot, just poorly executed, in my opinion. And I haven't tried watching the show yet. I think I watched, part of one episode a couple years ago. Mostly just because I'm not on Hulu much. I have an account, but I prefer Netflix. So maybe I'll watch it one day, but... And this one has a high rating. It's 4.11 out of 5. So I'm going to read a couple of reviews. And like I said, since I don't really have much, last week I did 5 books. This time I will probably just do 2 or 3. Maybe 3. I might do, I was gonna do the least favorite of series. However, I did New Moon last week for a good review. Maybe I'll read some good reviews for that if I can find any. And then I thought about doing Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Just because, as I mentioned in my ranking the Harry Potter video, that's just my least favorite book, always has been. So I might read some good reviews for that. Here's a 5-star. My phone will load. So this is basically... Hold on. Okay. So this person went back and edited her comment because she lives in the state of Ohio. So sorry about you. So her comment is starting off about real life, which I agree with. It's basically her talking about abortion. And how she hates the fact that Ohio passed that law, which I agree. Okay. She says she loves the book. A lot of people do. Basically saying the plot again. I hate reading reviews just for that purpose. Okay, I think this is mostly her watching the news, and so I'm not gonna read that review. I ignore the news for a reason. Here's another 5-star. Okay. Maybe this will be about the book instead of real life. I've been moved by books in the past many times, but I've never before read a book that has emotionally drained me to such a degree. This is frightening and powerful. Sometimes it only takes a single paragraph to make you realize how much so. And she quotes a paragraph, which I'm not going to read. Needless to say, this is an absolutely awful situation. From the very beginning, I knew how much I was going to like this book. Its story isn't one that is simply read, it demands to be heard. It beckoned me to see the full force of the situation. The handmaids, the average woman, have no free will or individualism. They are treated as simple baby-producing machines, an oppressive regime, I can't read today either, is forced upon them, and to deviate from the set standard results in a slow and agonizing death. There's no hope or joy for them, only perpetual subjugation. Indeed, this is where Atwood's all-inspiring persuasive powers reside. By portraying such a bleak situation, she's able to fully demonstrate what life could be like if we suddenly followed the misogynistic views of the Old Testament with fierce intensity. Women would have no power whatsoever. This would be reinforced by complete cultural destruction and lack of any form of self-expression. They would not be able to read or write. They would not be able to speak their minds. It would even go as far as to condition them so powerfully that they completely lack the ability of independent thought. And to make it even worse, the women know no difference. Sure, the narrator of this remembers her past, but she's not allowed to. She's forced to repress any sense of individual sentiment. Which, that I agree with. It is a horrible, not a horrible plot, but like, it's a horrible situation. And it is scary, especially with what's going on in the world. Yeah, it is a scary situation. So that I've always agreed with. Like I said, that's not why I dislike the book. Honestly, I think it could easily happen. Especially with how long it takes for a woman to even be seen with an ounce of respect, you know? But let's see. Another 5-star review. So I don't know if anybody, I think the plot, like, let people ignore the writing style itself. And maybe I would like the show more. Maybe that might be a little more entertaining. Because I know, like, a lot of shows have an open ending. So that, I guess, is, I don't know. Oh, here it is. There are so many themes and possible interpretations that can be taken from this book, plenty of which I have literally written essays on. That'd be cool to read, I guess. I wouldn't actually read them, but it's a good thought. But I'll let new readers discover and interpret the book for themselves. I will issue one warning. Though the ending is ambiguous and puts many people off the book, but for me it's one of the few cases where an open ending has worked 100%. I definitely disagree with that. It made the story even more powerful in my opinion, and guaranteed I would never be able to forget Alfred and indeed this whole book. Which, if you haven't read it, Alfred is the main character. Oh, apparently there's a movie. Alrighty, I didn't know that. Here is another 4-star. So a lot of people haven't really written about what I was hoping to read. about? Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Another 4-star review. Oh, apparently there is a sequel. I forgot about that. That came out 2019 of September, I think. So maybe, I don't know. I kind of didn't want to read the sequel. If anybody has read it, let me know what you thought about it. If it's anything like the first one. Somebody mentioned the president. And honestly, that is why the plot scares me. Okay. A lot of people say it's not an easy read, which is not. Regardless of the. Oh, somebody agrees with me. It's not a very well written book. I kind of want to read if they. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, okay. So they didn't dislike it because of the plot. They just disliked basically for the same reasons I did. Here's a 4-star. This might be the last one I read. And also if you haven't read it, like the names, like the main character, Offred, I don't think that's how you pronounce it. I haven't watched the show, I don't know. Excuse me. It's basically the man's name, with of in front. Like hers is the name Fred, the man, Fred. And that's who is trying to get a kid for his wife. So the man who is impregnating the handmaiden is what the handmaid's named after. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. Okay. A lot of people just say it is a difficult read, which it is. It really, really is. So let me see if I can get a high review. Harry Potter. So as I explained in that's Half-Blood Prince. As I explained in the last video, I have a shelf that's not interested, and every time I mark it not interested, it marks it red, which means I have to scroll through and find a book that I've actually read. Here is the Order of the Phoenix, though, which has 4.5 out of 5. And I don't hate it. I don't hate any of the Harry Potter books. I mean, obviously I have. Can you see it? Show it. There we are. Tattoo. And also, come on. There he is. You can see the always. So anyways, obviously I do not hate Harry Potter. But Order of the Phoenix was just always so boring to me. I just never liked it. Here's a 5-star. This is my favorite book of the favorite series of all time. It's so rich of detail, so full of mysterious and often dark magic. So much character development, which that part I agree with. I mean, you see Neville getting a little stronger. But yeah, it's just not my favorite book. I hear it's a lot of people's favorite book. I don't know. I never liked it. There's parts I like. I mean, there's a lot of parts of it that I do like, movie and book alike. That's about it. And I do like in the movie how we meet Luna in it. I mean, Here's another 5-star. Okay, that wasn't even a review. That was just an interview with J.K. Rowling. Somebody said I finished this book with tears in my eyes and laughter on my lips. I mean, I finished with tears in my eyes too, because, poor Sirius. I liked Sirius. A lot of people said he wasn't mature, but I mean, he did spend, 13 years in Azkaban? Yeah, 13 years. So, I mean, a lot of people don't really have a lot of actual reviews. Somebody said they wish it had been longer. I think it was a little too long. They're basically redoing the plot. Wait, what? I don't know what she's talking about, but okay. Yeah, there's a lot of angst in this book too, which is kind of why I hated it. Like, I get it. I get why there is. I mean, he just saw a friend, kind of a friend died. I mean, that was beside his parents, obviously. That was the first death that he actually saw. And his parents, he was too young, obviously. He was 1. So it's like, I get it. But it was also just kind of annoying. So they said normally I hate angst, which is what reminded me of it. This is mostly because I find the vast majority of what I see these days to be a sorry excuse to lengthen a story or a shoddy attempt to distract the reader from glaring issues, which honestly I think is what had happened in the book. I think there was really no plot in it. I mean, there was a plot. I mean, you had Umbridge, whatever her name is. No, I'm kidding. Umbridge. You had her, and then you had the Dumbledore's army. So I mean, you have a plot, but it's just like, to go on trying to cover up weak characterization, whatever. Add some angst. Want to hide those holes in your plot? Add some angst. The only type of angst I can stand is believable angst. Which, I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, he's a teen boy. He's 15. He's been through a lot. He just watched somebody died. So I shouldn't be annoyed. It might be kind of bad on my part. I shouldn't be, but I am. It's just a long book for nothing to happen. Like, you have DA and all that, but it's just like, I don't know. Honestly, I don't think anything happened until, like, the end when they're going to the Ministry of Magic. Which is sadly when Sirius dies, so that's also why I just liked it. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, they said that the undiluted rage that coursed through my body every time I read a scene that included Dolores Umbridge, which I forgot her first name most. But, yeah, I agree. That's also why I hate it. Because of Umbridge. Wow. Somebody said they loved the ending. Do you know why? Because life isn't sunshine and roses, and you don't always get to say goodbye to those you love. Okay, that's all well and fine. I still hate it. You don't get the sense that Sirius's death was a righteous one. You don't get resolution. He didn't make some grand sacrifice to save the lives of many others. He died taunting the bad guys, smiling at them, egging them on as though he was still that ego-inflated teenager you glimpsed through the pensieve. And then you find out it was all for nothing. That there are so many ways that could have been avoided. How do you deal with that? The best you can, I guess. I don't really hate the book just because he died. Uh, I hated that he died, but I get it. So it's not like, yeah. Ba, 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 ba. Nope, I already read that review. Another 5-star review. Says here Harry is 15 years old, and for most of the book, he's whiny and self-centered, like a typical teenager. He is well written for that part, and that's also why I dislike it, because I don't like kids and I don't like teenagers. Especially for that reason. Like, they are, I was gonna say childish, but of course they would, they're children. I was childish as a child. Which I know it's ironic that I read Harry Potter, given that fact, or that I watch it. But Harry always annoyed me anyways. Yeah, a lot of people talk about hating Umbridge. Sorry, I have something in my eye. It's making it hard to read. Okay. I think this was their first time reading this book, because they wondered if Umbridge would show up again. The book was stronger for character development than plot. Yes, this is a key book for the series, but I feel like most of the book was spent with characters' internal issues and development rather than the plot. So I think maybe that's why. I know like a lot of people like character-focused books. I never really knew which one I liked. It just depends on the book, I guess. It depends on how they do it. I guess when your main character is not an annoying kid, maybe that changes things, but excuse me. Well, they didn't really say much in their opinion. That's not even a real review. Somebody said that this is their least favorite. They still 5-starred it though. They said it's definitely not bad though. It's because of Umbridge. That's why. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, they didn't really say anything. So it is the longest book in the series. Oh. I don't know why I thought Deathly Hallows was. Wait, when did they review this? Oh, 2019. Okay. I'll have to go look. Oh, just kidding. I don't own the 5th book. Never mind. So here's 3 things that you loved about it. Harry and Sirius, which I loved. Dumbledore's Army, which I did like. And Luna. She is a good character. They didn't really say much of it, though. About Harry and Sirius, they never had much time together, but the time they did really influenced Harry's development. It's true. Aww. Somebody said, I am always ready to pop off on anyone who says they don't like this book because Harry is so angsty and annoying in it. Sorry. Well, why don't you watch a peer die right next to you, witness Adolf Hitler's resurrection, have a trusted adult admit they've been lying and manipulating you, then get sent home for 3 months to live with people who loathe you, all while being ghosted by the people who you actually like for weeks, and see how well you deal with that. And that part was in all caps. And okay, I get it, but I still hate it because of it. Sorry about you. You can pop off all you want. On top of all that, you got a government publishing daily articles detailing why you're a crazy person with an overactive imagination, and to pay no attention to that 100% alive, noseless man behind the curtains. Don't even with me on this. Also, I remember reading this book on my bunk bed in 8th grade the day it came out. Never in my life had I experienced so much fiery rage towards a fictional character. Umbridge? 15 years later, and Umbridge, yep, still wins award for the character, whose laugh could actually provoke me. Same. Pacifist who loves caps lock to rage punch an innocent bystander. Look, yeah, I get it. I hate it. There's a reason why I avoid kids and teenagers especially. Also because they're taller than me. But someone said this is their second favorite Harry Potter book. I wonder what their first is. In defense of Harry Angst phase, I feel like we're just gonna get another rant about what he went through. Yeah, you try being dropped in that situation and not being upset, especially as a 15-year-old. But yeah. Hey, listen, I have been in a place where I had no friends, and when I thought I had friends, they were just toxic. And even I was not that angsty. I probably was. But you know what? I didn't like myself as a teenager, okay? I never liked teens, even when I was one. So, I still hate Harry. Well, I don't hate Harry, but in this book, I disliked him. But yeah. So, let me see about a different book. I like that book. There's The Martian, but that has a 4.4 average rating. Last Sacrifice. I haven't read that yet. Why does it say I've read that? Yeah, well, we'll figure that out later. There is the... What series is that called? By Rochelle Mead. Vampire Academy, yeah. I need to reread those again. There's the book I last read. That's 4.28. Breaking Dawn Part 1, the official illustrated movie companion, actually has a 4.28 rating. I'm kind of surprised by that. There's It, that has 4.24, which I like that. It's really hard to find a book that I did not like. That's why I try to do, my least favorite out of a series. There's always Twilight and New Moon, I guess. But I did New Moon last time, and Twilight, it's just gonna be a lot of, this was terrible writing, and vampires don't sparkle, even though vampires aren't real to begin with. So it really doesn't matter who writes them with what. I'm actually surprised Gone Girl has a 4.07 average rating. There's another book I haven't read. I might have to, fix these and see if they'll stay shelved. Because it's kind of annoying me to have to scroll through all the books that I haven't even read just to get to a rating of a book that I have read. There's Mockingjay that has 4.04. But I also like that book. Excuse me. Fahrenheit 451. I didn't really dislike that though. I actually liked it. I had to read it for college. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't a favorite or anything. I didn't absolutely love it. So let's see. Let's read reviews on that. Why not? It has a 3 point something out of 5. Which I can tell you if my app loads. 3.99 out of 5. That's a pretty high rating. Oh, a friend rated it. Let's read his. To those who criticize Bradbury's sometimes stratospheric prose and frequent deliberate use of redundancy, I will say I agree those can be slightly off-putting just here and there. See, I don't really remember the book all too much. I read it like my first semester of college, which was 2015, so that's like 5 years ago. And it was like the fall semester, so it was almost 5 years ago. I think like I may have not. If I did dislike it, I probably disliked it because I hate assigned reading. But we had to write an essay over it. I remember like I liked the plot. Well, kind of. I hate the idea of books being burned and education being seen as something awful. But I'm just gonna show that read. Yep. While we're talking about education. This one says they got assigned to it in 6th grade. My high school hardly ever had assigned reading. When we did, it wasn't really. I remember like one book being assigned. That's it. If anything, we watched movies. My school was not made for education. Yeah. Oh. Somebody once started. No. I won't read these reviews just because I really don't remember, like, much that happened in it. I remember, like, the basic plot. That's kind of about it. I heard they did, like, an HBO show of it, though. And I am not finding. Oh gosh, I clicked something. I'm not finding anything that I didn't like. Like I have a lot of things that I shelved, not interested. I could probably read those, but then I wouldn't have an opinion on it, so alright. I think that'll be it. Well, today is April 20th, so happy 420. This won't be posted until sometime in May. I don't know what day yet, but just know it was 420 when I posted it, so blaze it. I'm just kidding. But feel free to subscribe, like, and share.